Artist Margaret Olley has been called a national treasure and one of Australia's favourite daughters. And tonight the accolades keep rolling as Australia mourns her death. The 88-year-old was renowned not only for her paintings but also for her philanthropic work, as Scott Bevan reports.
She defined our culture and our great love of all things that come from one person's mind and one person's imagination.
She had the smile of an imp. And in the art world, the reputation of a giant.
The art world, the Australian art world, has lost perhaps one of its greatest advocates.
It's lost a personality, but what it hasn't lost is what she's produced over the last 60 years.
She was more than someone who painted for a living. Margaret Olley's life was art.
My life and my paintings are one and the same thing.
Margaret Olley was best known for her still lifes, but her own life was anything but. She was born in 1923 in the far northern New South Wales town of Lismore. Her talent for art was nurtured at school in Brisbane and blossomed like the flowers she loved to paint when she hit Sydney. And she provided inspiration for fellow artists, featuring in the 1948 Archibald-winning portrait by William Dobell.
The real Margaret is there. She had this strange Renoir-esque beauty. All the painters were crazy about her.
And like those artists, the writer and broadcaster Clive James loved Margaret Olley as well.
I'm staggered with what she does. I always have been, but as I learn a little bit more about painting as I get older, I begin to appreciate more and more what a really remarkable talent it is.
2 generations on from Dobell's portrait, and she was still beguiling fellow artists, posing for Ben Quilty's Archibald winner this year.
He did ask me to pose naked, and I thought, will I or won't I? And I thought, no.
Most of the models that I asked to sit for me are friends, and I counted Margaret as a good friend.
For Ben Quilty, Margaret Olley was much more than a model, a fellow artist and a mentor.
Margaret was all of those things, but I guess the thing that I'll miss is I was actually going to see her tomorrow morning, and I'd just sit with her and ask her questions about her life, and she'd talk to me about politics and demanded I bring a piece of chocolate cake. And that friendship is something pretty special.
She's my oldest friend in the art business and probably one of my oldest friends ever.
Brisbane gallery owner Philip Bacon was with the artist at her Sydney studio just yesterday as she prepared for a major solo exhibition in September.
She was painting up a storm and she was actually signing works. We got the photographer in to take them away to photograph them. The framer came and measured them up, so it was all going.
That exhibition has been postponed. Instead, Philip Bacon is planning for a gallery to recreate elements of the famously cluttered former hat factory that was her home and studio.
A remembrance of what Margaret Olley was and what she created in that amazing environment, and then what came out of it.
Not that the artist herself saw her environment as amazing or indeed cluttered, as I discovered when she disputed a photo of her beloved space in 2007.
I've never actually seen my house is not like that at all. It's definitely not like that.
Really?
No.
Uh-huh.
The camera has taken 2 or 3 shots.
Uh-huh.
That's what I call a greedy photograph.
Margaret Olley's life was not all laughter. As a young woman, she battled alcoholism.
Something had to be done. I would have been long gone dead. So that was a very lucky escape and the wisest thing I've ever done in my life.
Margaret Olley also did some very generous things in her life, donating hundreds of works of art worth millions of dollars to galleries around Australia.
The wheel of life is receiving and giving, and it's in perfect harmony.
EDMUND CAPON, the Art Gallery of New South Wales director, says Olley donated more than 140 works to its collection.
Margaret shared everything she had, and she believed in investing her resources for the public good.
Margaret Olley never married, saying she had some lucky escapes, but she garnered a world of friends, including famous ones who wrote odes to her.
as this new century grows ever drearier. Thank God there's still an artist like Miss Olley to paint Australia's uncharted interior.
Friends to me are everything.
She was quite cheeky, actually.
In her later years, Margaret Olley may have been physically frail, but the director of the Art Gallery of South Australia, Nick Mitsevich, says she had enormous strength of character.
Well, she was completely uncompromising, and she was tough, but she had a heart of gold, and the toughness was about trying to get the best out of art.
She never let a moment's grass grow under her feet. And all that investment in life she shared with other people.
She had such a wide circle of interests and friends, and of course her commitment to young artists is legendary, her commitment to other art forms, to music, her philanthropy, her unbelievable generosity.
Such a dedication to her subject matter. I think she's obviously one of the most important painters of the last 100 years.
Scott Bevan reporting.